Welcome to today's recap of The Platform, a thought-provoking sci-fi thriller from Netflix that takes us on a chilling journey through a dystopian prison system known as The Hole. At the beginning of the movie we see, an elderly chef reviews and approves a variety of delectable dishes. Someone named Goreng awakens inside a building, and his cellmate Trimagasi informs him that they are currently in the hole, where the level is 48. Every month, inmates are knocked out and moved to a different level, with 2 people on each level of the prison. Inmates are moved once a month. Goreng learns that food is essential in this prison. It has come to Trimagasi's attention that the people below and above do not communicate with each other. After an alarm goes off, a massive table containing partially consumed food is brought down into their cell via a hole in the center. Trimagasi begins devouring the food brought to the table while Goreng watches in disgust. Before reaching their cell, it is clear that the food was brought down from the first 47 levels above them. Goreng takes an unfinished apple from the table and places it in his pocket, intending to eat it later. Trimagasi spits on the food and drinks the remaining wine, despite Goreng's objections, as the table descends to the cell below them. Goreng is not happy with this behavior. When the table has completely descended to the next level, the temperature inside the cell begins to rise to an unacceptably high level. During the time the table is on their floor, Trimagasi explains that the contents are solely theirs. As retribution for keeping the apple, the guards have raised the stakes. When Goreng successfully throws the apple down the hole and onto the table below, the heat is turned off. Goreng voluntarily agreed to spend 6 months in the hole in exchange for a government-recognized diploma. Eventually, he convinces Trimagasi to tell his story. One day, the elderly man became enraged over a seemingly insignificant issue and threw his television out the window. The TV was responsible for the death of a man who was standing outside his apartment, and the man chose to be in the hole rather than in a mental health facility. Trimagasi also reveals that his lowest level ever was 132. Despite the fact that no food can make it that far, he claims to have found ways to eat. Goreng want to communicate with higher levels in order to conserve food, but Trimagasi has said they will not listen to a communist. Trimagasi urinates on those below him, while Goreng yells for the other inmates to conserve food. He promises to return the favor if he is assigned to a lower level than them. Goreng reveals that he brought a book to prison with him, while Trimagasi brought a knife. Goreng is initially adamant about not eating, but he eventually succumbs to his hunger and sits down at the table with Trimagasi. One day, a long dead body falls through the hole. According to Trimagasi, a large number of people who have all of their needs met and are forced to focus solely on their circumstances and the actions they have taken to survive are more likely to commit suicide. Goreng is enraged by Trimagasi's and his fellow prisoners' cavalier attitudes. Goreng can't control his rage. His accusation is that Trimagasi murdered and consumed his previous cellmate while they were both on one of the facility's lower levels. Trimagasi disputes the claim, claiming that his cellmate has served his sentence and is now free. He claimed that they were able to survive on lower levels by eating the dead bodies that had fallen from higher levels. On one particular day, a woman is seen sitting on the table while it is being lowered. Trimagasi tells that the name of the woman is Maharu, and she is attempting to find her young child, who is allegedly being held somewhere on the premises. According to him, she kills her cellmate on a monthly basis in the hopes of being paired with her child later. Each month, she uses the platform to the fullest extent possible in an attempt to locate her child. As the table descends to level 49, the inmates attempt to her. Goreng yells for them to stop for a moment. Miharu successfully eliminates the 2 men and continues her descent. After a few days, Goreng loses his civility and becomes more like Trimagasi. Trimagasi admits to having feelings for Goreng during their final night at level 47, despite his belief that Goreng lacks the necessary skills to survive his stay. Trimagasi says he only has 2 months until his sentence is carried out. Goreng awakens to find himself restrained to the bed, with Trimagasi standing over him with his knife. They have received a promotion to level 171. People began screaming as soon as they realized where they were, and some attempted suicide by jumping down the hole. Given Goreng's younger age and better physical condition than Trimagasi, he explains that if he hadn't bound Goreng, Goreng would have killed him out of hunger. Trimagasi's plan is to fast for as long as he can before slowly dismembering Goreng so that they can both eat his flesh. When Goreng accuses Trimagasi of murder, he explains that the blame falls on those in positions of authority over them. When the platform is lowered, there are no bones left on the table for them to eat during the descent. Trimegasi begins carving into Goreng's leg after some time has passed. Miharu is on the platform when it arrives, preventing Trimegasi from completing his mutilation. As she frees Goreng, she injures Trimegasi. Now that he is free, Goreng slaughters Trimegasi. As she moves down the table, he and Miharu eat the Trimegasi they've prepared. Goreng begins to have hallucinations about sexual encounters with Miharu and conversations with Trimegasi. Goreng manages to make it to the end of the month just barely. When Goreng wakes up, he discovers that his new cellmate is a woman named Imogiri who is accompanied by a dog. It appears that they are currently at level 33. Imogiri worked for the administration in charge of running the hole before voluntarily being placed inside it. She claims that there are 200 levels, and that if everyone ate only what they needed, there would be enough food to reach the bottom of the facility. According to Imogiri, the administration hopes that the members of the hole will spontaneously band together for the benefit of all. If the people inside the hole are willing to make sacrifices for one another, the administration will use their success to persuade those outside the hole to do the same. As the table is lowered, Imogiri instructs the inmates below to eat only what they need, but they ignore her orders. Throughout the following weeks, Imogiri continues to beg those on the level below to eat only what is necessary for them. Goreng's threat to defecate on the food is the only thing that persuades them to change their minds. Having said that, they are unable to persuade those at higher levels than them to limit the amount of food consumed. Imogiri believes Goreng is the person who has the ability to unite the prisoners and make sacrifices for the greater good. On one particular day, Miharu is discovered lying on the table, terminally ill. They both provide medical care for her, but when Miharu awakens, she murders Imogiri's dog. While Miharu descends, Imogiri claims that Miharu's story is not true. Miharu then kills another convict who attempts to assault her. She claims Miharu voluntarily entered the hole in exchange for help becoming the Asian Marilyn Monroe, despite the fact that she had no children. To demonstrate her trustworthiness, Imogiri discloses that she has cancer and that she joined the organization solely to help those who are currently incarcerated. Imogiri becomes depressed as a result of their dog's death. On the day he was reassigned, Goreng discovered he was on level 202. When he regains consciousness, he discovers that Imogiri has committed suicide by hanging herself. Furthermore, there are additional levels beneath him. Goreng is attempting to consume his book. However, he eventually succumbs to his cannibalistic cravings and consumes Imogiri's body. At this point, he is experiencing hallucinations in which he converses with Imogiri and Trimegasi, both of whom have become a part of him. The specters claim that he is the Messiah. Goreng reawakens on level 6 the following month, accompanied by his new cellmate, a man named Baharat. After bringing a rope, Baharat asks those higher up to help him climb to the top of the hole and out of it. The inmates above him make fun of him and defecate on him. Goreng, who discovered that there are approximately 250 levels while on level 202, suggests that the two of them descend on the platform and distribute food to each level. His hypothesis is that if the food reaches the bottom, they will have successfully circumvented the system. In the event that they are unsuccessful, they can ride the platform back up. Baharat, a devout individual, agrees to the plan, and they prepare for combat. The two inmates begin their descent, beating the other prisoners back. They achieve a level with the assistance of a wise man whom Baharat knows. The wise men advise the two people to ensure that at least one delectable dish is returned to the platform without being consumed by either of them. The administration will receive notification that the hole has been conquered via the use of that dish that has not been consumed. To be returned completely uneaten, they choose a panna cotta, a dish that is nearly perfect. As they descend, the two individuals succeed in their mission to coerce the prisoners into conserving food. They arrive on a floor where Miharu is being stabbed by two extremely vicious inmates. Although Goreng and Baharat are successful in their assault and killing of the vicious inmates, they sustain serious injuries in the process. Miharu died as a result of his stab wounds. As they continue to descend, the majority of the people they encounter on the lower levels are either living dead or insane. Because they believe level 333 is the final level, the platform comes to a halt at this point. Their search for Minaru's child brings them to that level. When the two people step off the platform, they are surprised to see it start to descend again. The panna cotta is shared with the child, and they fall asleep. The next day, Goreng discovers that Baharat heart has died as a result of his injuries. That day, the platform reaches their level, but no food is available. Goring is responsible for pulling the child up onto the platform. Goring gently pats the child to sleep. Eventually, the platform will descend all the way to the very bottom, where the light from above will be as small as a pinhole. When Goring reaches the bottom, he meets the spirit of Trimagasi again, who informs him that his journey is over. Trimagasi believes that the child is the underlying message that should be communicated to the highest levels of administration. Despite Goring's desire to remain on the platform with the child, Trimagasi persuades him to leave after explaining that the child must ascend on their own. Trimagasi and Goring watch as the platform begins its ascent to the top. While Goring smiles, Trimagasi assures him that the child will successfully deliver the message to the administration. Thank you for watching this recap. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more movie recaps. See you next time.